Namaste. Let's start the second hour of a supplementary class. This class, I'll give you a special lecture about the Korean War. First, let's explain about the Korean Peninsula. The Korean peninsulas, the most distinctive geopolitical situation and characteristics. Korean Peninsula surrounded by China, Russia, and Japan, and sea, Pacific Ocean. This peninsula, where land power and sea power intercrossed like a bridge. Consequently, Korea in particular has experienced approximately 930 times wars, small and large. 1,000 during 4,000 years. And the land power, in other words, continental power, like China and Russia, communist and totalitarian party countries, and sea power, Japan and America. Yeah. Usually crossed through Korean Peninsula. So before the Republic of Korea, Korea have the Kingdom of Joseon Dynasty exist on this land. Kingdom of Joseon Dynasty for approximately exist 500 years. Unfortunately, in the late Joseon period, Japan invaded and forcibly annexed Joseon, ruling it as a colony for 36 years. 36 years. From 1939 to 1945, Japan would include with the Italy, and the Deutsch, German. They initiated World War II. So Japan occupied not only the Korean Peninsula, so China and many other a lot of Asian countries. So, but the United States dropping of atomic bomb, 2 atomic bombs on Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So Japan surrender was the United States. And 1945, 15th of August. At this time, in order to eradicate the remnant of Japanese military forces on the Korean Peninsula, in the north, it is the red color, and also this north as Soviet Union forces deployed troops this area, and U.S. military deployed troops south. So northern region became a Soviet communist dictatorship, North Korean dictator country under the influence of the Soviet Union, while the south region, southern region, became a liberal democratic country under the influence of the United States. So nowadays, the communist country, North Korea, and liberal democratic country, South Korea. So Korea divided in country. Yeah. No, less than 5 years after its founding, North Korea, the Korean Peninsula liberated from Japanese colony 15 August 1945, and North Korea, under control of Soviet Communist, prepared war with the support from Soviet Union and the Chinese Communist Party. Illegally invaded South Korea, sparking the Korean War. Let's watch the short video.
The Korean War, June 25, 1950 through July 27, 1953. At the end of World War II in 1945, Korea was freed from Japanese control. North Korea was occupied by the Soviets while the South was occupied by American forces. By 1948, the country was divided in half at the 38th parallel, with the capitalist South ruled by Syngman Rhee and the communist North ruled by Kim Il-sung. The Soviet troops withdrew from Korea in 1948 and U.S. troops withdrew in 1949. However, North and South Korea, as enemies of one another, would not accept the border between them as permanent. The North Koreans attacked South Korea on June 25, 1950, advancing across the 38th parallel. Around 75,000 troops of the North Korean People's Army defeated the Republic of Korea's army with success, capturing the capital city of Seoul, then occupying the whole of South Korea except for Busan. This was a problem, as President Truman and the United States wanted to contain the spread of communism by preventing the domino effect. That is, if Korea fell, so would other countries to the ideology. South Korea appealed for support, and the United States pushed a resolution through the United Nations Security Council. The USSR did not use its veto power, as it was boycotting the council because the new communist China was not accepted. In China's seat was the pro-US Chinese nationalist government of Taiwan. An appeal was made by the Security Council for North Korea to withdraw its troops, but was ignored. As a result, approval was granted for a UN army made up of an international force of 16 nations to send help to South Korea, commanded by General Douglas MacArthur. The UN troops, composed mainly of Americans, landed in South Korea in early July, but were soon pushed back on the defense by the North Korean forces, forming a perimeter around Busan to defend the line until reinforcements arrived in August. Now that their position was strengthened, MacArthur went on the offensive. On September 15th, the U.S. Marines X-Corps launched an amphibious assault at Incheon. The North Korean troops were pushed back on the retreat over the 38th parallel, and soon Seoul was recaptured along with the whole of South Korea by the end of the month. Now, MacArthur was to go beyond the initial idea of containment. Truman, worried of a Chinese response, nevertheless approved, and UN troops moved into North Korea on October 7, 1950. On October 12th, they captured Pyongyang, the North Korean capital, and then the Yalu River, which was the border with communist China. China retaliated by helping the North Koreans, sending 250,000 Chinese troops. The UN troops, overwhelmed by this new force, were pushed out of North Korea with heavy losses. By January 1951, Chinese and North Korean troops had captured Seoul. General MacArthur wanted to use the atom bomb on China and was dismissed for insubordination by President Truman, who went back to a policy of containment. In June 1951, more UN troops were sent to Korea, eventually driving the North Korean army to the 38th parallel and stabilizing the front. Now, a stalemate set in. In July, peace talks began, but a compromise could not be found. Meanwhile, fighting continued, and American pilots fought in the air against Soviet pilots using Chinese jet fighters and wearing Chinese uniforms. General Dwight D. Eisenhower took over as president in early 1953 and sought an end to the war. After 2 years of negotiation, an armistice was signed on July 27, 1953, at Panmunjom on the 38th parallel. A demilitarized zone was set up, which stands to this day. Subscribe and click the notification bell for more.
So these are the short brief history of Korean War. Let's explain more in detail. So Kim Il-sung, first the dictator president of North Korea, visit the Soviet, the dictator Stalin, visit China, the dictator communist Mao, to ask military support. And Stalin, Mao support North Korea. So the North Korea's offensive plan, first, second, third, advanced the 30-50 kilometers within 30 days, 1 month, occupied the whole the South Korea area. At that time, South Korea, very poor military power, no tanks, but North Korea 242 supported the Soviet tank T-38. Yeah, combat ship 33, 110. Yeah, aircraft just 22, 211, 200 fighter aircraft. Very poor. So, this 25th of June, 1950, 04 o'clock, North Korea, surprise attack on illegally across the border 38 battle line, as shown you on the video. Yeah. The defense line of South Korea collapsed very easily. And UN forces, the USA-led UN Security Council resolution. So 16 countries dispatched military. The other countries, some the medical forces, support medical forces. And this is operational delayed, but South Korea not effectively delayed. This is the situation map against the North Koreans attack. In just 1 month, the end of July 1950, just 1 month, North Korean Communist forces occupied the most of South Korea's area, just living the Nakdong on the Nakdong River, Busan area. It's very, very dangerous situation. Very dangerous and desperate situation. The UN forces led by the United States forces barely managed to hold the last portion of South Korea area. Very dangerous situation. At the time, the General MacArthur made a big strategic plan. General MacArthur, yes. In this desperate situation, General Douglas MacArthur, commander of the UN forces, empowered by God, the grace, by God's grace, devised a bold strategy to turn the tide of war. At one time, it was the Incheon landing operation, which is known for its brilliant performance in cutting off the real and retreat route of North Korean Communist forces by making a surprising landing in Incheon area, like the waist of a body of the Korean Peninsula and close to the capital Seoul. So, the 15 September, the initial landing operations successfully completed success. The initial landing operation. So recapture 28th September. And the Korean Army and UN Forces Army across 38 Caroline attacked to the north. So occupy the capital of North Korea, Pyongyang, yeah, and continuously advanced Yalu River, Baekdu Mountain. But the China's communist forces illegal intervention. The first offensive, 25th October. The lot of Chinese communist forces intervention in winter time here. So the South Korean forces and UN forces retreat to the south vicinity 38 degrees, even the south of Seoul. This is a very dangerous and very fighting campaign. The South Reservoir operation. And uh, 2nd October 1950, the communist proposal about the ceasefire, the ambassador, the Russia's ambassador for UN, yeah. So the UN proposal crossed fire. So establish 20-mile MDL 138 parallel. China refusal with the insisting of withdrawal of foreign troops in the Korea and Taiwan. So the next year, March, General MacArthur proposed a ceasefire, but China refusal. And June of 1951, Malik, Soviet ambassador to the UN, proposed ceasefire. So July, start a ceasefire negotiation. At last, 27 July 1953, during 3 years, signed armistice negotiation. This is the picture, the signing the armistice agreement. During Korean War, under the UN flag, the 16 countries sent combat troops. United States, Great Britain, Australia, Netherlands, Canada, New Zealand, France, Philippines, Turkey, Turkey, South African Republic country state, Greece, Belgium, Luxembourg, Ethiopia, Colombia. And medical support 6 countries, Sweden, India, Denmark, Norway, Italy, and Deutsche. And material support 3 countries. This is UN troops and casualties. USA 1,789,000 troops. The casualty total the yes. UK, Canada, Turkey. Turkey is Turkey. Yeah, Australia. Yes. A lot of soldiers were killed in action and casualty. I paid my sympathy, condolence, and admire their support. They do not know his name. I don't know. Thank you very much. Military sacrifice and casualties. I show this slide. Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free. Who is the winner? Who is the winner? I think no winner, no result. War is not over. The unfinished war. The victory doesn't repeat itself. It is applied in countless forms and repeated. Only a strong national power can protect its own country. Forgotten war or forgotten victory? Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered their country's call to defend the country they never knew and never knew, and a people they never met. Korean War Memorial in Park in Washington, D.C., United States. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered their country's call to defend a country, to defend the democracy they never knew and a people they never met. Noblesse oblige. Freedom is not free. Oh, currently, nowadays, South Korea faced the North Korea nuclear threats. This is nuclear facilities. North Korea, a lot of nuclear facilities. Uranium. Assessing North Korea's nuclear position. Yeah. The stockpile at least 50 or 100 nuclear stockpiles. North Korea have delivery means the missile, the short-range, mid-range, and even intercontinental ballistic missile across the Pacific Ocean reached United States, the eastern side. Yes. Various diverse missile. I think it is well known that South Korea's economy is significantly larger than the North Korea's. According to the estimate by major institutions such as the Bank of Korea, South Korea's nominal gross domestic product, GDP, is approximately 50 times to 60 times that of North Korea. But despite this enormous economic gap, South Korea faces serious security threat from North Korea's continued development of nuclear weapon and missile tests, even biological and chemical weapons. However, and also the lot of cyber attacks. However, while the economy is a matter of national prosperity, but security is a matter of national survival. So I am convinced that we can ensure both national survival and national prosperity only by swiftly establishing a secure system capable of resolutely confronting the North Korean nuclear threat, while simultaneously pursuing economic growth. Yes, thank you for watching this video. You summarize the key point of my first or second hour lecture. Okay, thank you for listening 2 hours. The first hour, the review of IR. The second hour is a special lecture about the Korean War. You, my student, listen carefully and write down and summarize the key point of my lecture, at least each hour and 1 page, so 2 pages, 2 hours. Upload to LMS separately, first hour, second hour assignment. Okay, thank you. You did a very good job. See you the 16th, the Tuesday class 16th afternoon, and the Thursday class 18th in the morning. Thank you. Bye.